Are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about whether there is never going to be another bear market again. So does claim Michael Saylor, and I want to discuss this with you because the concept is interesting. And if it's true, then our investment strategy needs to be a different one than if there are still bear markets. So let's get into this, and also let's talk a little bit about a couple of altcoins. You've seen it in the altcoin spotlight. We always have Ecomi and Vivi, but I also want to talk about VChain this time. I actually didn't put it yet on the thumbnail, but I want to talk about VChain. I want to talk about other altcoins, of course, what interests you as well. So make sure to stay all the way through. So, good morning, each and every one of you. Let's check out Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's a little bit red. Yesterday closed slightly in the red. Today it's opened in the red a little bit. We're at 109,536, just sitting below all-time highs. Nothing to complain here, I would say. But still, like, the excitement is not yet there, right? The excitement is not yet really feelable. I mean, a couple of people, they claim, okay, we always have bullishness in the market, right? Everyone is bullish. I don't really feel that. I don't think everyone is bullish. And the other side claims that everyone is too bearish. And I would lean more on that side. Everyone is too bearish, because I always see like where it's stopping. But of course, with the M2 topic that we're getting into each and every time, we see more and more people believing in that concept as well. But let's maybe talk about why this thing might not see, or why it should not see, another bear market. Let's get rid of the lines. Let's quickly look at what we have and with Bitcoin and what we had so far. So each time that we went on a big bull market and we went up, for example, 36,000%, we then had a bear market of minus 86%. And then the next time, and I'm just not even taking like the absolute bottoms, but the next time that we had a bull run, we went 8,800% just to correct 83%, 3% less. And then another bull run, we went all the way 1,500% just to correct again, big time. 77%, another 6% minus. And now people don't feel it really, but since almost 2 years, I think, is it 2 years? Yeah, December 22, something like that, we are up 600%. And the question is, how much more percent will we go before we are going 70% negative, right? So let's just say we reach 200,000, then we could go minus 70% to put the reduction, we would go back to 60K. Okay, so will that happen or won't that happen? Because I'm betting on that this will happen, and then I get a nice entry for my Bitcoin again. I only have to basically save up less than 60K to be able to buy one full Bitcoin, right? So that's the theory. But okay, so Michael Saylor is coming out saying that theory is wrong, or is it? Let's see. Let's listen to this here quickly. It's
how do
2
you
minutes
expect
long. We're going to react
the
a little
asset
bit.
to continue?
Why can't I fucking
a price
pause that?
increase at these levels that we've seen? I mean, can it keep that up over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years? And at what point do we see, winter coming again? Because that's been a permanent fixture of this asset class, right? It's gone from 0 or 1,000 to 20, and then back down to 3 or 4, and then up to 50, and then back down to 15, and now up to 110. Like, when does it drop again?
Winter's not coming back. We're past that. We're past that phase. If Bitcoin's not going to 0, it's going to $1 million. And you have all the evidence you need to determine that, right? The President of the United States has determined he supports Bitcoin. The cabinet supports Bitcoin. Scott Bessent supports Bitcoin. Paul Atkins has shown himself to be an enthusiastic believer of Bitcoin and digital assets. Kentez at CFTC feels the same way. The banks are going to custody Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gotten through its riskiest period. The accounting has been corrected. There's now only 450 Bitcoin a day available for sale by natural sellers. That's the miners. At this level, that works out to about $50 million of Bitcoin available for sale every day. If that $50 million is bought, then the price has got to move up to find any seller that's price sensitive. Now, if you do the math, you'll actually see the Bitcoin treasury companies by themselves are buying the entire natural supply.
Yeah.
BlackRock and the ETFs are buying another measure of that. And we've got nation-state actors coming into the space. So I think when Bitcoin rallies, if it surges to 500,000 or $1 million, then maybe we could talk about it crashing down by $200,000 a coin. But at the current price levels, it only takes $50 million to turn the entire drive shaft of the crypto economy one turn. And you've got the Trump media organization announcing $2.5 billion. You've got GameStop announcing $500 million. You've got my company that's raising billions and billions of dollars. So the writing is on the wall. Bitcoin's moving higher.
Okay, so what do you think about this, guys? Because, we have heard a couple of interesting arguments here. First, everyone embraced Bitcoin, so now everyone's going to buy Bitcoin. No one's selling Bitcoin. The net output of 450 Bitcoin per day is eaten up by the Bitcoin companies, and that the surplus then is eaten up by other companies like BlackRock. I think there's a first wrong assumption here, because we have already seen in the past dips in this cycle that were sometimes as deep as 30%, that also BlackRock can have outflows. It's not just inflows. It's not like that no one that holds BlackRock ETF, the IBIT ETF, is selling, right? So of course, if they are pressing the sell button, there is Bitcoin flowing into the market. Then it's still debatable if the others will at any time scoop it up, like Metacade, GameStop, Saylor Strategy, and so on. That's debatable. But the other part is, like he says, okay, right now here, there's not going to be a bear market at 100K, because that's way too attractive still. But at 1 million, he says we can discuss about crashing down to 800,000. That would only be a 20% dip. That would be less than any known dips even in bull markets so far. So also that would not really put a bear market at our hands. But if we're looking back at the Bitcoin price, we have this bull market. It looks also different than the other bull markets, but we have this bull market at our hand. We are at all-time highs, and we see that there are mini bear markets or long dips in that, like 30% here. This is the deepest, right? This one here was 32%. This is even deeper, right? We had that. It was painful, but it's nothing like the other ones in the previous bull markets that we had. So question is, could he be right on that? And but if we listen to him, we would expect basically that Bitcoin goes just on like this to 500K and doesn't stop, no parabola of retail FOMO, nothing. So that basically means Bitcoin just appreciates all the time and there's no FOMO. I cannot really imagine that, right? That is one part. I mean, my biggest argument, I will save it up a little bit more. The other one is that, hey, what time frame are we even talking about? Because if you zoom out enough, you basically see that there is really no bear market, right? Even 80% drawdowns, if you just put the trend line on that, you're basically on, Bitcoin is going up since the inception, right? Basically no going down whatsoever, right? That is also true if you would put it that way. So the question is, he says there's no crypto winter. So crypto winter are exactly these phases here, right? This is a crypto winter. This is a crypto winter. And I would disagree with that for the following point. And you remember this from yesterday, right? So we had all these like global M2 following and so on. So we had seen that also the dips were driven by global M2. And maybe it's expanding for now, maybe for a year or so. It will just put more fire on this thesis that you basically can't lose on Bitcoin, which you can't, but temporarily you can get underwater. And what happens if M2 money supply turns around and crunches again for 2 years or 3 years, right? At some point, not now, but maybe in 6 months or in 9 months. What then? Does it then completely decouple and Bitcoin just goes with it? I don't think so. I think that then there is a bear market again. And I think that's not reflected in what Saylor says here. Also, we see that in other posts, so this narrative is not only coming from Saylor, but everywhere. And here from Compass, basically, the retail FOMO cycles are over. This is the institutional bid, okay? So basically what he argues is that this is retail FOMO, this is retail FOMO, this is retail FOMO. And now there's not, just because there's no parabola, but institutional bid would be a linear phase. I don't know exactly why, because institutional FOMO should be the biggest parabola ever, right? But it's not really. I don't know. Maybe we are not ready for the last, or maybe we are not in the last part of this stage, or maybe this bull market just evolves like this one. Because if you would put a channel, and this is the argument that I made since years on this channel, that I think this bull market evolves like the 2016-17 one. If you would put a channel over this, I can't because it's not TradingView, but only until here, right? Only until this part, all-time high and a little bit more maybe, you would get a rising channel as well, like here. The parabola part is just coming in the end here in this case. Or if you would put this here, you would have a sideways channel with a fake out, okay, here. And then there is the parabola. So is this really an argument just because this is coiling up differently that there is no retail FOMO anymore, right? Why shouldn't there be? I mean, the retail FOMO should be even higher just because it's perceived as safer now. Here's also an interesting one from this Jordan B. Peterson and Saylor. Let's quickly look at that one. It ties a little bit in this argument. So let's listen to this.
Well, so why won't,
Going everywhere.
if it's ramping up in terms of its success, and let's say that that's exponential, because perhaps it might be, why won't Bitcoin just suck the investment capital out of everything It is, and it will. Okay. That's why I'm here. That's okay. So what's the consequences of that? Well,
okay, yeah, and unfortunately we don't, or I don't have right now the second or the follow up to the second question of Jordan, but I think it's interesting, right? Because I think that is actually true. It's a Bitcoin long term, right? Not right now in this year or second year, but basically saying it's sucking the investment capital out of everything, meaning that that people prefer Bitcoin over other investments, right? And is that really true today? Because Michael Saylor says it is already. I think yes, it's outperforming, but on the other hand, we just saw 5 trillion added to the global gold market cap. So it's not that there is just no investment flowing anymore in other things. People, companies, institutions, states are still buying real estate, property, like ground, earth, whatever, like acres of land and so on. They still buy this. They still buy gold. They still buy company shares. Stocks, like the stock market is huge. So it's not that we are at the point where it may have begun sucking out the investment capital out of everything. But again, counter argument to Saylor here. Spin this a little bit longer. What are the consequences? The consequences are the bigger it gets, the less attractive, so less volatility, the less attractive it will be for that investment capital. And there are new ways, because you have to outperform 8 to 10% hidden inflation just to preserve your capital, and then some more to have really an advantage, an edge over everyone who is not investing. Okay, so if Bitcoin goes at some point down in the appreciation, in the compound annual growth rate to 20% only or less, then it's equal to the Nasdaq, right? I don't think this will happen anytime soon, but maybe 20, 30, 40 years down the road, when halvings are less impactful. It's debatable if they are or not, right? Because if Bitcoin is extremely high, then even the couple of Satoshis getting halved would still be meaningful, right? So it all depends on how the adoption works, right? But right now, it's true because we have a 40% growth rate year over year. Everyone who sees that will invest in that instead of anything else, because there are hardly any other assets that give you an annual growth of 40%. And don't come to me with altcoins, because they have an annual growth rate of 0 basically at the moment, because they are 3 years down. Now only they are moving, right? So yes, there are some altcoins that got launched, dipped, people bought them, did a 6-8x. Yes, that's outperforming Bitcoin, but that's not the general rule. Whereas with Bitcoin, everyone can do it, right? So this I would say is an interesting take. And then finally, we have another one here from Bloomberg, basically about the price prediction. So let's listen to this as well.
You're doing a lot more than just holding the Bitcoin, so it's, I think, unfair to compare you to an ETF, but it sounds like you may be inviting competition from a JP Morgan, for example, which then makes me wonder, when does this asset start to convince the naysayers? You know, Jamie Dimon has famously said it's worthless. Warren Buffett has called it probably rat poison squared. When does it win those people over?
People called electricity worthless and aircraft worthless too when they didn't understand them. So I welcome the competition from JP Morgan. I hope they enter the space. Our advantage is that we're 100% Bitcoin. So whenever we create a preferred stock, it has the Bitcoin performance, and it has a measure of Bitcoin performance and a fraction of Bitcoin volatility. That allows us to issue the most liquid preferred stocks in the world at the highest performance. Strike was up 29% when the rest of the market of preferreds was down 6%. Strife was up 22% when the rest of the market was down 4.6%. It's impossible to issue Bitcoin-backed convertible preferreds and Bitcoin-backed fixed preferreds unless you're willing to make 100% of your balance sheet Bitcoin. So I'm not really worried about competition from JP Morgan or Berkshire Hathaway. I would love for them to enter the Bitcoin space, buy up a bunch of Bitcoin. When they do it, they'll be paying $1 million of Bitcoin. The price will go to the moon. That will be good for the entire crypto economy and beneficial to everyone that holds any BTC-backed equity or credit-based instrument.
Yeah, so very, very interesting here also. It's basically predicting that they are going to enter at a $1 million price for Bitcoin. That's only when they are going to come into the market. We will see if that happens exactly at those prices, but we can understand the underlying strategy here, which is just buy Bitcoin, issue more, raise more capital, buy more Bitcoin, and so on. We have seen that before. We will see how bear market proof that is. I think we will see. Probably it's going to work out for strategy. I don't know if it will work out for every company though. And that might accelerate a future bear market. We will see that then. Probably in 2 years or so. Let's check that out. But anyways, let's get to the by the way, damn, I promised yesterday to put Nick on that. At least I put you in the group, so please don't hate me for that. I need another day to put you on the screen. But let's welcome the rare hodlers that are in the chat. Philippe is here, good morning. Bodo is here, good morning to you. G-Money, good to see you. And also, besides rare hodlers, we have Diviner Singh, good to see you as well. So I hope you enjoy a little discussion about this stuff. Vivi Zombie, what is going on? Good to see you as well. Guys, may I ask you to smash up the like button right now? I know that somehow it's not exciting to be at 109,000 Bitcoin. Everyone is bored to hell by this price action because people want to see big God candles in the sky, and people want to see altcoins. So let's let's get a little journey into the altcoins here, and I'm going to pull that up. How are we looking on altcoins? Let's see. There we go. Altcoins. We are moving at some altcoins on the weekly. The day is green. So what do we have? We have Kaya leading the charge with 20%. We have, what is that? Volta. Oh, that's previous EOS. EOS rebranded to Volta. Okay, good to know. We have Uniswap on second place with 19%. Let's actually check out how Uniswap chart looks. I'm very curious. I don't know why the site always goes to USDC, but I really would like to watch still the USDT Uniswap stuff. Okay, it looks like a big fat accumulation range, to be quite honest. Let's get an older chart if we can. Maybe OKX. It's a little bit older. That's with the last bull run. So basically bull run, bear market, and since then we had two attempts to come out. For you, I really like Uniswap, and I could imagine that Uniswap could be good, right? But so Uniswap's one of them. We have Arbitrum 12%. Everything's green, right? Everything's green here. All across the board, we see 3, 4, 2 to 3%. Maybe 3 to 4%. The top 100 actually have a little bit more than the rest. Here everything is up. It's except White, Plume, Cheems, and ZBCN, Kava. Everything else up a couple of percent. Interestingly, because we have a little blip here in the altcoin, in the Bitcoin dominance, which is interesting because this is going to be interesting to observe whether we are really going to abandon here the highs, this trajectory, and we form a lower high here. That would be interesting, right? Let's put it that way. I'm not so sure yet. This is the weekly chart. I'm not so sure yet because of this. I thought this was the beginning of the altcoin season, and then we had this. So we will see. I mean, we see it also here in the last times. At some point we did hit our high, and then we had something like this, and then we went until the real altcoin season happened. So we will see and observe. Not so sure yet if Bitcoin is done, right? So there could be another push, but we will see. We still have half the year, a little bit more than half the year for this run, for this Bitcoin run. So technically, time-wise, cycle-wise, timing-wise, and altcoins are gearing up. So if you believe that altcoins are coming back, then it might be a good time to get into altcoins. Another one is VChain. I personally like VChain. $2.23 billion market cap is high. It is still in the top 50. So one second, this is also chart-wise not the correct one. There we go. Similar to Uniswap, we have these two spikes up and bouncing another time here off of this massive multi-year long support line, which we lost 2 times for a bit. We are expecting VChain to rally hard. I saw some things about VChain. Where is it? I saw something about VChain. There it is. And that is, VChain is now the second most talked about token in the real world asset category, with 7.42 million engagements. And as I always said, like, engagement, community, that's very, very important. We see Link is beating that by far, but Link also is a monster, is a beast of a project, right? I love Link. I really love Link. VChain, that's really good. Like, that's a lot of engagement, right? So yeah, VChain is building. VChain has a lot of followers. VChain's followers did grow. If you guys remember, when we looked at VChain a couple of months ago, they actually had 550,000. Now they have 80,000 followers more on Twitter. So they are doing something right. They are still in the top 50. One of the few projects from the last bull run that's still in the top 50. What is new on VChain? Let's check it out quickly. VChain Stargate launch. Have at least 10,000 VET tokens. New node tiers enabled. Okay, so basically there's a new way to stake and earn with VChain. The better side also contributes to it. I think that's not the main thing. I think what really helped them was to release the new roadmap for VChain and to redefine staking, earning, and so on, right? So, here we see staking opens July the 1st. Wallets already live, users already earning. VChain moves like no one's watching, but 1 million plus people already are. Stargate brings real staking, new node tiers will lower thresholds, and VET ties it all together. This is the preparation for the bull run, for VChain, because it's all in the bull run. It's all about TVL, total value locked. People want to earn VTHO. They staked it. I also staked throughout my VChain throughout the entire bear market. And I think that will help VChain quite a bit, right? They are featured in all the like in crazy many articles and research studies. So yeah, a lot of things are going on for VChain in my opinion. Good morning, Conquer. What is going on? Yeah, really like VChain. I think they are going to do well. Another one that we wanted to look at is Devi. Devi is currently at 544. Yesterday we talked briefly about it, but didn't look at it. I think it's time to do so right now. Actually, we had a chart with markings. We did, right? This one, yeah. Yeah, a lot of markings, but you see, like, when you look at it, you see why. Okay, so this is basically the support that we expected for a drawdown. We are almost there. We see that certain levels did not hold. The drawdown is massive. I mean, we have been up all the way here to, that's a 75% drawdown at the worst at the moment. We could go exactly to these 40 cents, right? Would be a phenomenal entry in my opinion. We will see if it curves out, does well. That's part of the altcoin game, like having a massive pump. Of course, we did not take any profits. We should have, yeah. That was a nice 14x, right? That's usually, I mean, I took my initial investment out, but I didn't take any profits so far. So that is a nice, really nice return. That's where it all started out, right? I mean, from the absolute bottom, considering that someone really bought here, that would have been a 14x, but somewhere roughly here, probably an 8-9x or so. What I am speculating about with Devi, though, is that they will break their all-time high at 176 and from there go completely nuts parabolic, forming something like a cup and handle or whatever, right? Bullish pattern here over the next weeks to come, something like that into September, right? And then bam, altcoin season. I could see that, and that would be a really nice return, because then when you're back here and you've accumulated here, you're up maybe a nice 5, 6, 7x, and then you put a 10x on top or so. That's where you click the exit button, right? Just one of these stories, right? Another one is Mcade, as we saw yesterday. Metacade, 707. It's even smaller. $27.7 million market cap. A really nice project. We already have it up here. We are basically since ever in a fat accumulation phase. Also here, I'm looking at, hey, we go back to this previous double touched all-time high, which is already a 3x, and then from there it's the price discovery parabola whatever zone, and then I'm going to look at longer time frames and see how the RSI develops and so on, because here you see, I mean, it's maybe something like a rising channel accumulation, whatever, right? But for me, all of these coins, I will look at them in a monthly, so I can see this, right? I can see this RSI going to 90 something, completely overbought. We didn't really see that on any of the coins just yet. With Devi, we did see a weekly, but monthly, monthly there's no RSI, but a weekly we saw at 79, so it wasn't even in the 80 range when it turned around. So right, so there needs to be rules set for, hey, when I see this and that, yeah, I might go. Maybe the TSI works for this as well. We will see. I mean, it says here we are in a bear market for like on a weekly time frame. It's not so accurate, and we don't have enough data for a monthly, so not accurate. TSI, I only use it for Bitcoin, the TSI only, where it's very accurate. Bernard Donald says, good morning PH, feeling bullish. Yeah, let's go. why we are feeling bullish, another one that I wanted to talk with you about is this. It's the DXY. We have been observing it, the DXY, with a finally losing this range after years, bearishly retesting this range, and is now on the downside. And there is, you can see the blob of announcements down here. There is a lot of things coming in that will influence this one or the other direction. We have the Fed interest rate decision on the 18th of June. That is in 7 days. I think the market will check that out. Basically, what's happening regarding this interest rate decision is apparently, so Jerome Powell has still until 2026. But they are already gearing up for another one that is following him that basically says, hey, if I would be Fed chair, I would lower the interest rate. Therefore, the market is going to price that in. We will see if Jerome Powell just plays the... I mean, actually, I saw one thing. I'll have to put this up once again, quickly going full screen. And that is the CME Watch Tool. CME Fed Watch. You can watch it at cmegroup.com/markets. It gives you the countdown, how long it is until the rate decision, and it gives you a prediction for what is going to happen, right? And you see that the current target rate is, that you see up here, the current target rate is 425 to 50. And the market sees a 99% chance that we are staying at that, right? And a 0.1% chance for a rate cut, okay? You can also go to July, and then you see, okay, there's already a 15% chance for a rate cut in July. And then the market sees for September a more than 50%. If you calculate both together, it's basically a 60% chance for a 25 basis point rate cut, and so on. And then for October, there are very little, only 22% believing that in October there will still be the rates at the same, and then in December even less, right? So we see that the chance, the likelihood is zero for this Fed interest rate for cutting, but in July we are starting to get the chance in July, and then we will see this shifts, of course, around with the economic outlook, right? So if something in the economy goes funky, then this might shift a lot. Hey, Jimbo Lilingo, what is going on? Hello, Master Patient Hodler. How are you guys doing? I mean, Jimbo, like, you are around since years. I know this name since years. So let's hope that we are finally rewarded for all our blood, sweat, and tears in this market. And now we are closing into the 4-year mark in this market together, yeah, with the channel and everything. Let's see if we're finally rewarded big time for that. But that is basically where was I coming from? So the argument is, hey, the market might price it in anyways, and therefore also the dollar getting weaker, which is something where Trump said he wants that anyways. Can I click this? Then we have core PCE, doesn't matter, personal income, okay, personal spending, GDP growth rate quarter over quarter, that's important, right? How's the GDP developing? And then the FOMC minutes in July, which is basically the reasoning why they decide to what they decided, right? So all of that is coming within the next 2 to 3 weeks. If the DXY, the dollar, so again, for the ones that don't know, the DXY is the dollar compared to a basket of other currencies in the world. And it has been very strong. And then Trump came into office. We also said, so like the last time Trump came into office, the dollar weakens big time. Of course, we have some swings back, but now we're expecting the dollar to fall even more. Yeah. That's what the current administration is working on. And once it's happening, it's big fat bull season, because you see it here. The times where this happened were the last 2 big fat bull runs for Bitcoin. Okay, so we still have the possibility to have a drop off like this, and also with altcoin season, right? Maybe that's also the reason why our bull run looks different than before, because we basically had this instead of this, right? So possible that we still get a huge lag before we turn around, right? We will see. Maybe we never get down to this level again. Who knows, right? Maybe the dollar is just, compared to other currencies, too strong. That doesn't only depend on the dollar. It also depends on other currencies being weaker than usually, right? Which makes the dollar in comparison stronger, more attractive to be in. Yeah. But that all ties and plays in together. Ecomi is still green. Slightly on the weekly. We are looking to see this hopefully break out and close higher for a turnaround in the Ecomi token. Jimbo says, by December, Bitcoin 150,000, OMI 00032, not financial advice. Well, 00032 would be I would not be too shabby. But that's only a 45% increase, which would mean that there was no altcoin season until December, which can happen. I mean, we could go just Bitcoin goes nuts, altcoins get wrecked, and maybe then we have our altcoin season in the first quarter of 2026, right? We don't know. I mean, the cycles are doing what the cycles are doing. I don't care, to be honest, if it's 0003 or 0004. I just want to see a turnaround in the Ecomi token so that we can say, okay, this needs to end, right? This downtrend needs to end. And the likelihood that it somewhere will is obviously there, right? I mean, with this volume blob here, which is really nice, now we only need to see continuation of that. But we see already the data getting better for Ecomi and Vivville. Ecomi being used on Stacker, some larger ticket items selling. Yesterday I saw someone buying a Spider-Man Secret Rare, I think it was mint 630, for 11 million OMI, which means they burned X amount of OMI in that transaction. Yeah, that's good to see. It's good to see that these transactions are happening. Yeah, what can I say? Quick look at Vivville. Oh shit. Okay, there we go. Refreshed. We see comics and comics and comics. What is this? Vivville Star Wars. What's next for digital collectibles with Dan Crothers? A podcast interview. Okay. Don't forget to add Maserati HQ digital collectible to your Vivville official collection. Okay. We will not forget. Not to the P. This looks like a Super Mario, but it's not. Whatever. Yeah, I think that's already it since yesterday. Yeah. Okay, guys, let's do some Q&A. Let's discuss. Mark D says, did you see the Stacker video 15 hours ago? The last 40 seconds are amazing. Let me check this out. Is it on Twitter? On a Stacker? I mean, I hope it doesn't have like music, like copyrighted music. Is that okay, it's from the beach parties and so on. Okay, so let's check the last seconds out here together. I don't know if it has music. Let me check quickly. Yeah, it does. So we have to, unfortunately, we have to see it without music because otherwise I'm getting demonetized. So let's check this out. Okay. Twitter has this stupid thing that when you are on mute on the icon, then you click, it goes unmute again. Yeah, whatever. We are almost at 3:14. There we go. Okay. Now we can. Wait a second.
Dan mentioned. So basically we can expect self-custody, interoperability. We're working on a framework so that NFTs get immortal. They cannot be deleted anymore. You can rely on a file storage system. So yeah, it's going to be it's a big project, but we're already working for.
Okay, I have to pause it here. But I see what you mean, like the immortalization of the NFTs. So a project where even if Vivi goes bankrupt, you still don't lose your stuff and you can still trade it then and so on. I think that's good. That's great. That's actually something that is needed, and it would make it superior to other projects as well. That is good. Unfortunately, they've put music everywhere, which I can understand, makes the videos more exciting. But you can't just play them, like literally, you can't play any, not even trailers from Vivi on the channel because you get demonetized, or maybe worse, just because the trailer has a background music. You basically make advertisement for them and you still get fucked, right? So yeah. So he says, exactly. Been working on it since January, he says. Yeah, okay. So I don't know how long it takes, but it's good. It's good to know. I don't think that V goes out of business in the next month, so maybe there's not so much pressure for that, but it's good to have it as soon as possible, obviously, to sleep better. GM Fam says Mewtwo. Hey, welcome to the stream, Mewtwo. Let's see. We had another question. Robert says, what do you think of Caffeine AI on ICP? Caffeine AI on ICP. I have no idea what that is, to be honest. I mean, I know what ICP is, but I don't know. Let me quickly check that. CoinGecko. Maybe we find something on CoinGecko. Caffeine. Caf to ETH. Caffeine on Sol. On ICP, I can't see on ICP, to be honest. Guys, by the way, smash the like button. Was the Dr. Profit exposed? Yeah, he's known since a long time. Yeah, he's known since a long time. Already doxed. Everyone knows who he is now. New self-writing internet being released. Okay, let me Google that. Caffeine AI on ICP. Maybe we find it. Caffeine AI uses to create blockchain applications in real time on ICP through natural language conversation. Let's see. Okay, so what do we have here? There we go. This is ICP defies crypto downturn with caffeine-fueled rally and whale accumulation. By the way, I also have a caffeine-fueled rally on this stream. And non-whale shrimp accumulation. Shrimp-like accumulation. Insane clown posse? What do you mean? Internet Computers token rallied for the fourth day, outperforming broader crypto market amid hype over announcement of its new AI-driven platform, Caffeine. Okay, is there any content here? In the live demonstration at World Computer Summit in Zurich on June 5, founder Dominic Williams revealed that Caffeine will enable users to create blockchain application in real time on ICP through natural language conversation, removing the need for traditional programming skills. By the way, this is what I said, right? So AI is going to like everyone who only has like basic skills and so on is going to be removed by AI. I didn't know they were in the space. Yeah. It's the first legit AI on the blockchain. Really? The platform leverages ICP's secure smart canister architecture and aims to democratize blockchain development, making it accessible to global user base via smartphones. As of press time, the alpha version is currently open for waitlist registration, with a public beta launch expected in the next month. Okay, interesting. The surge in attention around Caffeine appears to have sparked renewed investor interest in ICP. Okay, I think it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. Let's see how ICP is doing. Internet Computer. I also have a little bit ICP in my bag. I didn't look at it for like a year or so, but I have. Yeah, it's actually reacting to this. So let's put some nice. Yeah. Actually, this chart in general doesn't look too bad for ICP, right? I mean, what could we see here? Something like this. Something like this. Is that legit? We would actually say, okay, compression then breakout. We will see, right? Could be happening. Yeah, this is the non-logarithmic. Well, I mean, for ICP, let's be honest, this price is not too shabby, right? To get into, if you see where it has been this cycle already. What was the low? 280. Now it's at 6. It doesn't look like it, right? But it has been at $2 to $3, and now it's coming up at 6.23. But it has already reached in March 24. It has reached 21. So just going back there would be 3.5x. That's not too bad. I mean, it's not too bad. Super bullish on ICP long term. Yeah, so I mean, it's also very large. It's larger than VChain. It has a $3.33 billion market cap. That means in that spike, it was like a $10+ billion market cap. I would say such a project could go to 50 in a bull run or so. Who knows, right? We'll never know. I don't think it will ever go back to these highs. Maybe this, right? 80, which would be a little bit more than a 10x, but I don't think it will ever go back to where it launched, which was completely overvalued at $900. I remember that time when ICP launched last run. I remember that. People bought it for $900 and got wrecked so hard. Yeah. That was insane. Overall, I think it's a good thing. Of course, everyone plays the AI fiddle. We will see how it is. But right now, it's probably on these larger coins not the worst of the buys. For me, it's just too big. I already have a coin that is so big, which is VChain. It's not that big, but it's already big. Yeah. So let's see. What else? Let's see here. Mewtwo says first blockchain where everything can be done on-chain. ETH and most other networks have parallel layer 2 solutions in order to scale. ICP is king IMO at the moment. Yeah, okay, that's a really compelling argument. The question is, how much adoption do they get, right? Because I mean, Ethereum is still the go-to for institutions, right? So how can they get the institutions? Hey Domvu, what's going on? Bringing the tea to the coffee channel? If you wouldn't be a rare hodler, man, that would be ooh. But maybe it's late and then you need the tea. Yeah, speaking of which, let's quickly check out ETH USDT. ETH USDT on Bitstamp. That's not the one that I had. Is this one? Yeah, that's my chart. Yeah, monthly. There we go. Actually, why is this so out of whack here? This is, yeah. Okay, so interesting time for Ethereum. It's actually not doing that bad in the last 2 months. You see here green, big fat green, 57%. Hey Green Lantern, GM boys, late but present, liked and paying attention. With 3 coffees, you see? One guy is drinking tea, the other guy is already making it up. 3 coffees, no problem at all. 3 espresso shots in, bam. Let's go. Together on this channel, we are caffeine AI, okay? But thank you for that information about Robert, about ICP, and also Mewtwo. Thank you for educating us a little bit here on ICP. I think that is really good to know. I think it's good for the space, and I hope that ICP is going to do insane returns, as I have a little bit and I wanted to do very well. But also for you guys who have bigger bags of ICP, I also want them to do really, really well. Yeah, so guys, make sure to smash up the like button. I usually forget to ask about it, but it's really important that you smash the like button on this video. I know it's annoying if you have to go out of full screen, but you can like tilt the phone to the side, I think, and then just smash like button, go back to full screen. If you're on smart TV, that really sucks to smash the like there, but there should be a possibility. If you are on computer, it's very easy, so please do that. Subscribe to the channel, notifications on, and wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and I catch you in the next video or live stream. Have a good one, everyone, and bye.